edition of the Ryan and Goodman podcast, none other than Kenny Anderson, arguably, Bob Ryan, the greatest point guard ever to come out of New York City. Can we say that? I think he's got to be in the discussion, right, Bob?
I know that the New York City veterans are pretty much in agreement that he's a starting guard, all-time New York team.
Yeah.
May very well damn be the single greatest point guard. And I got to ask him, how many people to this day, Kenny, when you go up, say, I was there when you had that shot, the one, the CHSAA tournament, when you were 14 years old from Malloy. Huh?
Yeah. Not too many.
You could live off that one in some areas of Queens. Right?
They're a little older, they say that.
Yeah.
Young kids aren't saying that.
I know that, but I'm just saying, the old timers, first thing they think of, that's when I heard. That's when I learned about you.
No, you're absolutely right. When I go to New York, that's the first thing I hear. Hey, when you played in the city championship against Talentine High School as a freshman, that's where it all started for me. That's where it all started.
Lee Frack, right?
Left Rack City.
Frack City. And see, I'm doing my homework on you, but I'm a Jersey guy though, so I consider New York to be a big suburb of Trenton.
Yeah, but I love Jersey too. I started my pro career there. I love Jersey.
Yes, you did. At the Brendan Byrne Arena. Was it Brendan Byrne then or Cannell? Brendan Byrne, right?
The Meadowlands.
Yeah, but
the
Brendan Byrne. Anyway.
Brendan Byrne Arena, Meadowlands. Yeah, that's what they called it. I don't know. I forget.
It's had a few names, don't they all? Yeah.
So go back, Kenny. Go back to when you were like 14, 15 years old. You're getting recruited out of New York City. It was different then. I started covering AAU 20 years ago or something like that, 2025. So I didn't see you. We're about the same age. So but what was it like then? Like, how was it for you coming out of New York City as kind of the guy with everybody on you? Kind of give me a glimpse into what it was like, into your life, into your recruitment.
My recruitment was done the right way, because Coach Curran, Jack Curran, coach of Archbishop of Ohio, he wasn't going for it. So he told me, this is what you do, this is how you act, and I did what I was told, being in Left Rack City and then going to Malloy. I had two sides of it, man, and that's what I told my son. I had two sides of it. I was growing up in the rough part of the neighborhood, and then I would go to my school, Archbishop Malloy High School, where it was more whites, blacks. We was mixed. So I learned a lot, going to Archbishop Malloy. But there was Duke, Syracuse, Georgia Tech, UNC, Georgia Tech. And now I'm gonna tell you, Georgia Tech I wasn't thinking about Georgia Tech.
No,
I wasn't thinking about Georgia Tech. I was thinking about Syracuse because of Pearl Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Pearl Washington, yeah.
What was Bobby Crim's selling point?
It was my mother. My mother went to the trip with me to Atlanta, and she just fell in love with Atlanta. And Coach Crimmins is great. He talked about the school, Georgia Tech, the engineer program, everything. It was a tough school academically, but basketball wise, it was coming up. So I knew what to expect. They had Dennis Scott, Brian Oliver. I said I could work with those guys. But my mother, to this day, rest in peace. I really don't know if she got some money or whatever. But on the way back, she was like, "You going to Georgia Tech?" On the plane, she was like, "You going to Georgia Tech?" I was like, oh, "All right, Bob."
Have you heard that a lot, Kenny? Because I've heard it. I mean, I remember hearing it when you hear you hear all the recruiting stories, the recruiting lore when you cover it. And I always heard that, like, Kenny Anderson got paid to go to Georgia Tech.
I didn't get paid. I did. My mother might have.
Did you ever ask her?
No, I never asked her that.
Really?
I was having too much fun, with the school. When I got in there, we went to the Final Four my freshman year. We won the ACC. So everything worked out for me. And my mother said, "I told you, you listen to me. You
didn't ask any questions when she came out with the fur coat.
I didn't.
And the pearl necklace.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
Huh?
Yo, I swear, because I wasn't supposed to ask my mother nothing.
Well, it's funny. So,
Are you happy?
so I remember interviewing a kid. I don't know if you remember, either of you remember this name, Renardo Sidney. He was a big time player coming out about 15 years ago, the #1 player in the country.
Wow.
And he was from Mississippi, moved to LA. Okay. Moved to LA with the family. And they were in a $1 million mansion, and they didn't have anything in Mississippi. And I had him on my podcast a couple of years ago, and I said, Renardo, like, didn't you ask your dad, like, how you were able to live in a $1 million mansion in LA? And you know, he said to me, he's like, I was 16. I didn't care.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
Yeah.
Right.
I really, but this is how I was my whole life. As long as my mother was happy, I didn't question my mother.
Yeah.
I wasn't questioning her. So I just went along with the program. But she did say she wanted me to go to Georgia Tech, not Syracuse.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, but I said, I remember going down to Georgia Tech, going to school, when we first get to school, not the season. And I was wondering in my head at the time, did I pick the right school?
Yeah.
Because I started playing with those guys. And then we played against the Atlanta Hawks, Doc Rivers, all those guys used to come and play. It was great. Everybody from Georgia University, Atlanta schools would come, and we play against each other every summer. So it was just great basketball.
Yeah. Well, how tough was your Final Four experience? I know how the game went, but the whole experience, were you, was it everything you had hoped it would be in terms of the experience?
Yeah, the experience was great. But honestly, I got sick.
Oh,
I got sick the first. I remember back. I had diarrhea.
well, there must be something going on because Bobby Hurley in the championship game couldn't play. No, seriously, this is like a story I'm curious about. There must have been something going on, or weren't you guys were eating, or what the hell was going on?
It's something we was eating, but I didn't have it during the game, but I had it during I think Friday night or something like that when we got into Denver, and I was sick, so I hung in the room, but everybody else did everything. They enjoyed themselves. I remember that. I had the bubbles in my stomach or something. Maybe I was nervous or something, but I remember that.
You remember what you had for lunch?
I can't remember that far.
maybe that's what it was. Maybe you had some fish or something.
Yeah. I remember that. I was just like, oh man, stomach was all messed up.
So before we go back, I want to go to what you're doing now and kind of let people know, and then we'll flip it back a little bit. But you're coaching an NAIA team down in Nashville called Fisk University.
Yeah,
you've been there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Why? What was the reason for you getting in? I mean, that's no disrespect, but that's lower level, right?
Yeah, definitely. I thought about my high school coach, Jack Curran. Coaching. I wanted to coach, and I was living in Florida, coaching the AAU teams. My son's team and everything. And I just thought back. I said, I can just help these young men in life, not so much basketball. So when I got the call, for Fisk University, I knew, NAIA school, small school, but I wanted to help. So I said, I'll coach it. I'll try to call it. I came down and I saw, all the academics. The academics was great at Fisk University. It's awesome. But the basketball program needs a lot of work. And I was like, man, I'm the guy for it. Maybe I can do something. And I just thought about my high school coach, and that's what made me really, it's my job to give back and to help these young men survive. And not only basketball, just in life in general, get a good job, graduate from school, and I'll be happy, that I did my job the correct way. But I definitely want to win because I'm a winner, I'm a competitor, but in time, when I can straighten out everything here, the academics, not so much the academics, but there's no scholarship. You know, it's a private school. So, you know, that's one. That's a real headache. And then the basketball facilities is not the greatest, but I'm working on, you know, getting some things straightened out here. And it's a great school. I feel I can turn it around, and that's what I want to do.
Just so people know about this university.
Yes.
This coaching. Here's 3 of their more prominent alumni historically. W.E. Du Bois.
Yep. I'm in the building now.
Nicky Giovanni, one of the great poets we've ever developed and to produce in America. Oh yeah, John Lewis.
Yes.
Wow.
He just
How about
passed
that,
away.
ladies and gentlemen?
Yes.
Wow.
All alumni of Fisk University. You got some good historical company there, Kenny.
Yeah, definitely.
So, what's it been like for you now during this? You know, you're not playing.
Yeah.
So, what have you been doing?
You know, I've been watching the game, you know, getting tips and things of that nature. But the college game I really watch. The pro game I watch for excitement, for enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
But the college game I watch on picking up stuff and things of that nature.
Yep.
You know, so I'm still a huge Boston Celtic fan. I'm a huge Celtic fan. I'm a huge Brooklyn Nets fan. And I'm a Portland Trailblazers fan. Those are the 3 teams I really cheer for, and I wish them the best.
All right, so then we got to hit you with the Nets. The Nets is like the big thing right now, right? They've been mediocre. They can't guard anybody so far.
No.
Can they get it together, or do you think this is just not the right match, not the right fit for these 3 together?
They can get it together, but I'm not sure about this year.
Okay.
Maybe next year or so on, you know, because the league, they got a great coach, Steve Nash.
Yeah.
But in the league, he was in Phoenix for so many years. He wasn't inclined and playing defense. So,
Good point. You're right.
Yeah. Wasn't a priority of Coach D'Antoni.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was a coach. And then D'Antoni is with him now. So they trying to speed up the offense. They got offensive juggernauts. They got 3 of the best in the history of the NBA. You have to play defense to win championships. You have to. And I don't know if they can get it right away this year, you know, with everything that's going on.
What's your take on Kyrie? What's your take on Kyrie, Kenny?
I don't know him personally, but he's a great individual basketball player. Awesome. But it seems to me wherever he goes, there's always some problem. And I don't get it. I don't know. I'm like, wow, you know. I also think, you know, he's gotten, you know, with all the touchy situations that we've been through as human beings, he's let it get to him a lot stronger than most people would. Now, I say you're an athlete, you're a basketball player. You have to play basketball. Period. Deal with that in the off season.
Right.
That's what I would like for him to do. But who am I?
It's hard to know with Kyrie. Kyrie's a tough one to figure out. You know, I've known him since, not well, but I've known him since he was about 14 years old. And like you said, hey, the talent, the part of all of our issue with Kyrie is he's so talented.
Yeah.
You expect so much out of him. And trust me, I've never heard Bob Ryan is always positive about everybody. And Kyrie's the one guy that you can sense the frustration from Bob. And again, it's because he's so special and the talents that he brings to the floor.
Yeah, he's very special. He's a very special.
He's clearly intelligent. No one will not.
Oh, no,
he's clearly intelligent, but almost like I don't know what there's, but he's not focused. It's hard to explain. I always kiddingly say, Kenny, that this won't be his last stop, and everywhere he goes.
You think so? You think it won't be his last stop?
No, he'll mess it up. I think.
Wow.
He'll prove it otherwise. And people say, I couldn't figure that guy out.
Yeah.
And I think he's searching for something in life, and he's not sure what it is. That's my armchair psychology.
Yeah. Maybe,
But
man.
but it has nothing to do with sheer IQ. My God, he's a smart guy. No doubt about it. He's aware, and he wants to be a good citizen. He wants to be a good person.
Yeah.
He wants to help society. I think he really believes that. I think it's really sincere. But he's maybe not capable of doing what he thinks he's. Is anybody capable? He's trying to save the world, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Can't save the world. You can't save it.
And you see it. You concentrate on basketball, and that's what people are trying to get him to do.
And what now y'all two probably can answer this. Can a point guard take and win a championship? A point guard or one? I don't think we can nowadays.
It's crazy.
So he needs that. See, can a point guard win a championship? No, I don't think
as the top guy. I mean, probably, Steph kind of did it a few years ago before KD got there.
I don't consider him a point guy. He's a 1.5. He's a unusual. He's the greatest shooter who's ever lived. Who can pass? I don't think.
I get you. Yeah.
And let me throw this one at you, Kenny. And you played against him. One guy that all of a sudden, and he's another complicated human being, but Isaiah Thomas. They went
to.
He was the best player.
Yeah,
he was the best player. I mean, no one would argue that. Is he the exception to the rule? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. As far as playing, I don't know if you could do it nowadays. I don't think.
What would be the difference if he's? Let's say, for the sake of this argument, that they did it with him as the best player, but not. You don't think it could happen again? Why not?
I think the other positions are too strong.
Okay.
Nowadays.
Yeah.
The 2, the 3, the 4 guy. I think the 1 we have to do so much. He's 6'2", 6'3". He got Kevin Durant.
He wasn't even there.
Yeah. Kevin Durant. Even Steph Curry had some help with him.
He did.
He could shoot the ball.
He had one of the great.
He had all those guys shooting the ball. They got a great system for that.
Totally. No, agreed. Hey, you said the Celtics too are a team that you follow closely.
Yeah. Obviously, I love the Celtics.
I know you do. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to why you love the Celtics in a minute, because it's interesting. You spent about 4 or 5 years in Boston. When you watch this team now, Kenny, and you see Tatum and you see Jaylen Brown, and Kemba's really been struggling lately. The New York City kid who everybody loves Kemba, but Kemba doesn't look like Kemba right now.
No, I know.
What do you think of the Celtics team and their chances?
That's Kemba. Kemba. He's not the same. Something is going on after the injury. He's not the same. And the bigs, Jason Tatum and the two, those guys are awesome. Those guys are awesome. But I think we need a big.
Yeah.
And Kemba, something got to give. Smart, he's got to come back from injury and play extremely well. He's been playing hell of a basketball. But I believe it's Kemba and a big. We need our bigs. They got Thompson from Cleveland.
Yeah.
But it's more to it. But the whole NBA has changed a little bit too with the 3-point shot.
Everybody's shooting them now, Kenny. Everybody's shooting the 3.
Yes, the court is wide open. Yeah. So if you could, it's a little bit, it's quick guards in and out, but they're pulling up for threes instead of penetrating, and it's a little different.
Guys are passing up 2-footers and passing out.
Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah, that's what it's about right now.
I just, I go, but that's the game. That's the game. Yeah. I'm sure you've noticed, you see a 145, 141 game without overtime. That wasn't happening when you were playing. I'm going to tell you right now.
Man.
That was not happening.
we had the fives. The fives. If you had a great Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning, who else? I can't. But we had 5s and 4s where they sit on the block. Right. We give the ball into them and then we cut off them. Things of that nature. And the 2, the jump shot off the 2 is better than the 3. So, but now, it's so spread open right now. Now you had Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal. You had all the 5s.
Yeah.
Hakeem Olajuwon. You know, it's just different basketball. And I love the game. I always pick up things. You can't pick up too many things in the pros. You can't. You can just enjoy the game because some of those athletes are just extreme. They're great athletes.
I saw you commented on your Twitter. You watched an Oklahoma State game a week or two ago.
Yeah.
And Cade Cunningham.
Yes.
What'd you think of him?
Oh, he's awesome. He's going to be awesome.
Yes.
Sometimes you get crowded the college game. It shrinks you. But the NBA larger, you know, what you can do. He can dribble. He can make people better. He can pass. He can shoot. He's 6'8". He's what, 6'8"?
Yeah. He's 6'8", 230.
So he's a pro. He's a pro body, pro mental, and I love the way he, you know, the way he acts on the floor. He can really be a leader. He's a leader for Oklahoma State. He's a great kid, seems to me.
He is a great kid. I've met him several times, man. Yeah. He's got every intangible you want, Kenny.
And I was watching the game last night. They said, well, you got to wait. He might not be number one. But that guy's one to me.
He's going to be one. He's going to be one. I talked to him about, early on in the season, I don't know if you saw the kid from Gonzaga, Jalen Suggs.
I love Suggs, too. I love him, too.
So he came out of nowhere. So I think for a minute there, you had a bunch of NBA guys. You know how it is. Novelty, right? They hadn't seen Suggs as much. All of a sudden, he comes out and he's got this extra gear and he's quick and his defense is terrific. And Gonzaga's winning. That helps too. Gonzaga's so good.
Yeah, when I watch a lot of these young men play, I'll be like wondering. I tell my wife, I don't think I could play with those guys at all.
You could have played with them. You could have played with them. Trust me.
Those guys look like they look good, man.
No, I think I would give you a shot. I'd let you try out for the team. Don't worry.
How do you? Go ahead, Bob. Go.
All right. There's so many places we can go, but I did a little homework here, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the coaches you played for, you wanted to write a book just on the coaches you played for. All right, you ready for this, Jeff?
Go ahead.
Here's a few names of guys that he played for: Fitch, Daly, Carlissimo, Patino, Silas, Carlisle, Dunleavy, Woodson, O'Brien, and Alan Bristow, who once had a fight with Dave Cowens. Not with Dave Cowens, Larry Bird. But anyway, you as a rookie, your first two coaches were Bill Fitch and Chuck Daly, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, how did they each? Just tell me about them.
Yeah, Bill Fitch was a great coach. You know, I remember with the Celtics in Houston, but I really didn't get to know him. You know, he didn't really want me in the draft. I believe he wanted Billy Owen. And then Willis Reed wanted me, and they chose me in the draft. So I didn't play much, and, I didn't play much for him. I really didn't know him,
Were you just too wild for him, Kenny? Were you too wild and young?
I wasn't wild at all.
No.
I wasn't wild. I believe, and that's true, he just didn't want me. He thought they were going to draft Billy Owens, and they drafted me. And Chuck Daly was my guy. That was my guy. That's my probably the best pro coach, one of the best pro coaches I had. He let me, he said, hey, you and Derek Coleman, this is your team, you run it. And he was one of the reasons I became a professional under Chuck Daly, because he told me this is what you have to do. And he coached one of the best point guards, Isaiah Thomas. So I knew, I said, I better listen to this man. He knows. And that's what he did, man. He was great human being.
Well, the key thing is, did he ever give you any wardrobe tips?
Yeah, the wardrobe. No, but he was clean. He was clean, man. Like you said, I love all my coaches in the NBA. They gave me, even like Fitch, he didn't play me, but that was something I was taught a lesson, during that time.
We got something of a Boston tinge to this podcast quite often. and you played for Rick.
Yes.
Rick traded for you. Rick traded Chauncey Billups. He said, I remember exactly what he said. I need a real point guard.
Yep.
And it was you. And so there's a guy, you know, I mean, I'm sure he showed you the love, right? Tell us about Rick as a coach.
Rick Pitino was awesome as a coach, but that might have changed Chauncey Billups in growing.
Right.
You know, when he left Boston, he went to Detroit and became a champion and coaching now in the NBA. So that's, you know, Rick was a very good coach, very good coach. He wore everything on his sleeve. He was hard nosed, you know, but that was him.
You were there at the end of Antoine, right? With Antoine and Pierce.
Yeah, we went to the Eastern Conference Final.
Right. The year before you got traded for Vin Baker and Shammond Williams.
Yeah, that was tough on me because I really wanted to end my career. I just wanted to play a year, two more years.
Yeah.
And they traded me. I was like, man, I was really hurt. I was really hurt by that.
Yeah,
well, you were due for a decent payday too, right? That was your final year contract.
That's what I was playing. That's what I was playing so hard. Yo, I played hard. You know, but I got everything together. But it was really disturbing for me and really hard for me. And I'll tell you, after that, I really was finished with the league, really.
Really?
Yeah.
You lost the love? Like just lost
I lost
it?
the love, and I played another 3 years. Yep. But I really didn't have the love when they traded me from Boston.
Really?
You know, after everything I did, I thought I was doing everything for the organization the right way. Yeah. And you know, they didn't feel I was or something. I don't know.
Do you happen to remember a specific game you played one night in Utah and you went off?
Yeah.
You went off. I went off writing about it. And I mean, it was, it was the best game I thought I remember you playing in Boston, you know. Yeah. But I mean, it's just, I just wonder if I remember that you were terrific. I mean, not that you weren't, I'm not, you know, saying you weren't ever good nights, but that night.
No, I understand. That was one of my biggest games. Yeah, the Utah. And Utah was before
they were good. That was Stockton Malone. You beat their ass that night. Yep.
Yeah, it was after the All-Star break, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I had a big time game. I guess everything with Boston was just my home. It made me feel at home. I worked extremely hard. I enjoyed the people there. It was just a great atmosphere for me to play in, and I love playing in Boston. I loved it.
I feel like you once said that Boston fans were the best fans in the country, even though you grew up in New York. Those are those are fighting words, Kenny.
Yeah, that was no, it was, man. And to this day, I say it. You know, Boston fans are awesome, and New York fans is awesome. Boston fans is awesome. To play in New Jersey and Boston, you can't beat it, man. It was just so awesome. And being from New York, it was just awesome, man. It was awesome.
So your life, like, I mean, again, you've had documentary, you've had books. Like your life is, I don't even know how to describe it, Kenny. Again, because 14 years old, it started. People knew who you were at 14. Yeah. You've had ups, you've had downs. You've jumped back up now.
Yeah.
I guess let's start with the highlight of your life. What was the point when you were the happiest in your life?
Wow, you making me get emotional. But my high school and college, my first 6 years.
Why?
I wasn't playing for money or anything. I was playing for the joy. The joy around me, the joy of playing basketball, all the people at Archbishop Malloy, I loved. All the people at Georgia Tech, I loved. And then I started knowing when I made it to the NBA, I didn't understand it early, but I got it. It was just a business. You know, in the NBA was a business. And you got to get it early to understand it. But, you know, Archbishop Malloy, Georgia Tech, those was fun times in my life. I had a really great just atmosphere, not only for the game, but after the game, and this, the type of kid I was. You know, I just didn't. I wasn't into the business side of it early in my career.
You predate. Did you play AAU or you predate AAU?
Well, I played for Riverside Church, Gaucho,
Church,
New York. I don't know if it was AAU. It wasn't AAU.
Not the same.
It was AAU, but it was different. It was different back then.
Well, that's what I'm gonna get at. Is it's an AAU world now.
Yeah.
And high schools are incidental.
Yeah.
Kids are more interested in your AAU team, and by and large, certainly in the cities. Maybe maybe not in a rural area somewhere when but what I'm saying. And it's I call it the hijacking of adolescent basketball from high school. I mean, so kids are loyal to their AAU team more than they are to their high school now. But
yeah, I can't get over that. You're absolutely correct.
You could have what it's like to be loyal to the alma mater in high school.
Yeah,
CHSAA.
Hey, that's what it is.
That was a huge thing.
Yeah, back then, when I went to school, I played for Jack Curran and Archbishop Malloy High School. I played high school basketball. That was it. And then in the summer, he told me, play for those teams in the summer just to get wrecked. And that's what I did. But I was coming back to play on my high school team, and that was all about when I was in high school from 85 to 89. And that's what it was all about. My high school. That's why I love my high school so much. Archbishop Malloy High School, I just love it because it taught me basketball. I was already talented, but he taught me how to be a team player, Coach Jack Curran, and the school taught me how to grow as a human being, as a person.
Let me ask Jeff. This is because Jeff is an expert on this that world of basketball. And the top 100 prospects in a given year now, in the 21st century, Jeff, how many are actually recruited or the high school coach has any input as opposed to the AAU coach?
Very, very few. It's not even all the they all have a guy now. They all have a guy.
Yeah. And
he knows this.
I coach on the college level now, so I understand.
Right.
The guy called me up, and
Exactly.
They want money.
I mean, seriously, do people, Kenny, at your level, has anybody ever asked you for money so far?
Yeah. And so many words, but they don't come out with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. I already know, what it's going to take for this young man to come and
right. Okay. I need a flight. I need to be able to see my kid play.
I need that. I need everything.
It used to be a job. That was the big thing about 10 years ago. Parents all wanted jobs, Bob.
Yeah.
For a while.
And that's not bad. Right. That's not bad. If you
want to hook them up. Some guys, here's a story. Some guys would put, they would have like a booster running a apartment complex.
Yeah.
They would have a job opening. They would put in the paper for that job opening to run the apartment complex as a manager. Then the parent of the kid would go in, they'd apply for it. And they get it. They get it, Bob. Right? They get it, Kenny.
Hey. Yeah. Nationwide search, as we say around here.
That's
it's
right.
different.
That's right. So, all right, I asked you your high point of your life. Flip it for me. What was the point when you were?
Oh, my lowest point was when I retired. My mother died 2005. She passed away, and I retired. I didn't know what I was going to do with myself. I really didn't. I was like, I could have went all the way down, and nobody would have cared about what I was doing, or they wouldn't have let me back in and whatever. I went all the way down when my mother died in 2005, and I had to raise. I was raising my son and my daughter. My wife was with me, and everything was fine. I lived in a Pembroke Pines, Florida, for 15 years, and I wasn't working. I just had my savings, and I was fine.
Sure.
But I was fine, but mentally I wasn't. I didn't know what I was doing. So I partied, went out, drinking, all this just craziness. I just did a lot of craziness.
You're like,
But-
you're in your mid-30s, right? You're in your mid-30s and you
Yeah,
didn't know what to
yes,
do.
sir. I didn't
Right?
know what to do. I didn't know what I was going to do. But I think, and this is true, I almost died. I had a stroke 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I almost died. And I woke up, I woke up out of it. And I said, thank God. And I changed my life. I
Really?
changed my life from there, man.
That's great. That's
I
great.
changed my life. I had
Wow.
to.
How, what did you do to change your life?
I started giving back, and the one point that I'm giving, I'm here at Fisk.
Yep.
My daughter's a sophomore here at Fisk. My wife worked at Vanderbilt Hospital. I wanted to help, so I helped these young men, regardless of where I was coaching at. I wanted to try to help coach this team and do better, not only for the school but for myself.
Sure.
So a lot of them didn't get it, but I got it. You know, it's a real. I changed my whole life, everything. What people I used to hang out with, and I just changed my whole life, man. It was a real changing a spot in my life. I had a stroke, and I could have just died, and said I didn't want to live like that no more. Whatever, I don't know, but I just said I have to cut it out. It wasn't my wife, it wasn't my kids, it was just me. I wanted to change, and I changed. Changed for the better, I guess. I'm not sure.
No, I think it's for the better, Kenny. It sounds like it's way for the better. So that's good.
It's boring though.
You look happy.
It's boring though.
Whatever. Hey, we're getting old. We're getting old, man.
Yeah. So now I just tend to my kids. You know, my kids at home, and then my kids on my team, and that's excites me. And you know, when great things happen for them, it excites me. I really enjoy doing that.
Random question: who's the funniest teammate you ever had?
Oh wow! I had a lot of teammates.
I know.
Yes, you
You
did.
got a lot to pick from.
you know, but you from Boston. I don't know, but I was really thrilled. I played with Robert Parrish for a year in Charlotte, and I was thrilled. That was like a high point of being with a teammate.
Wow.
You know, and I was with Robert Parrish, the chief.
The chief.
Never would say too much,
No.
but you do.
That's funny.
He's
He
a
was
great
tall.
man. He's a great man. But I don't. Derek Coleman was a good guy. Drazen Petrovic was good. Antoine Walker's a good guy. Paul P. All those guys are good. But I played with the Syracuse guy up in New Jersey. You gotta forgive me. I forget a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, with the stroke.
Yeah.
But
Not Sherman.
we
Sherman?
still talk. Syracuse with Pearl Washington. He played with Pearl Washington.
With who? With not with
I'm trying to think who was
the big guy? Was it a big?
Oh no, he's a shooter. Raphael Addison. I'm sorry.
Oh, Raphael Addison.
Raphael Addison.
Yeah.
Raphael Addison. You know, he was great, man. He was a great guy, great teammate, and I really loved him. Raphael Addison with the New Jersey Nets.
So, hey, what do you remember about your trip to North Korea?
Oh yeah.
I gotta hear about that. I gotta hear what really happened. Like that had to be off the rails crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. I really didn't know. So, excuse my, I really didn't know at the time where we was going. Dennis Rodman did a lot of stuff for the kids for me in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
So he said when Kenny, when it come around, I want you to go with me. I said, all right, no problem. So I was like, no problem. So this trip came. And I didn't know it was North Korea. I didn't know, this is my ignorance. I didn't know it was North Korea we was going to. I thought we was going to China. I knew it was China. But when we went over there, and my wife was calling, everybody was like, oh, you over there, it's crazy. You got it. So then it got kind of crazy. I went over there with Charles Smith, Cliff Robinson, rest in peace.
Then Baker.
Myself, Dennis Rodman. It was like 5 or 6 pros. It was like 5 or 6 pros, and then the rest were the N1 players.
Okay.
So it was very. It taught me a lot with North Korea on how they lived over there. It was really gray over there.
Was it?
Gray. It was crazy. I seen we were going to the hotel. They took our passports when we got on the bus. Everybody gave their passports up.
Woo.
I'm like, wow, yeah. They took our passports, and then I seen a guy working the street. I don't know, he was like picking some gum off the street or something with 2 shotguns at him. The security guys had 2 shotguns. So it was great. We stayed at the hotel. It was just a crazy trip. Crazy trip.
What can we say? So did you like shake hands with Kim Jong-un? Did you?
Yeah, I got the picture, but my wife won't let me put the picture up in the house. So I keep it. I got it. Shaking hands with him. He's little guy too.
He's a point guard, though, for sure, right?
Yeah, he is. No doubt.
He supposedly loves basketball.
No, yeah, he loves basketball. Hey, Dennis Rodman is really, really, really great with him.
Yeah.
It was in the arena when we went to the arena. I remember the clapping. They all wore the same.
Mm-hmm.
The women
Right.
in the men wore the gray suit.
Yep.
And the women wore the gray dresses. And it was packed, and they was clapping hard. They was clapping, and everybody clapped together.
Mm-hmm.
And they stopped. It's crazy.
I've been saying for years that what the American State Department should do is invite him to the NBA Finals, all expenses paid, one year. Wine him and dine him. He does like his scotch, I think. He likes something. And wine him and dine him and take him to the NBA Finals, and it'll be the greatest diplomatic coup of all time.
Yeah, it might. I'm not
guess
sure.
what? I'm not kidding. They ought to run it by him.
Yeah, that's good, but I don't know if I'm gonna be there.
Kenny, what advice? I know you went through some, like you said, some hard times when you retired. Declared bankruptcy that year, I think, right?
Yeah.
What advice would you give to the young players now? And they're making more than you made. You made a lot, but they're making a lot more than you made even right now. What advice would you give, or have you given to some of these young guys that are in the league?
I would just say, you don't need 5 or 6 cars, 3, 4 houses. You really don't need it. So really take care of your money, your assets, and you invest wisely, I would say. But it's taking care of so many people. You don't have to.
Is that what you did?
That's what I did. You don't have to. That's not your job to take care of, grown men.
So you were too loyal in a way.
I was too loyal in a way. Exactly.
To the guys that you grew up with?
Not so much. I grew up with people I knew, I took care of, but you really can't do that, and you shouldn't. But you live and learn. I'm 50 years old right now.
Antoine was another one who you played with who did that.
Kenny, I'm speaking here as the elderly white guy.
Yeah.
A serious question. So how is they play it on? Do they play you that play a guilt trip card on you? Like, remember where you came from line, that kind of stuff? Is that how they get people at times?
No, but they use that. But not on me. They didn't use it on me. I just wanted to help. That's me. But it's certain things, it's certain ways you can help. But I think I helped the wrong way by just giving. And I really didn't know, how to help them. But and this is truth. I had, so much money that I was able to recover.
Well, you thought the money
to recover.
Did you think the money was kind of endless at that point too?
No, I didn't know it was endless, but I wanted to take care of my mother, and I did. So, she passed away in 2005, but it could, I thought, I didn't never think it was gonna be endless, but I thought, things happen, and when you're not ready for it, boom, 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 it just sneak up on you. And thank God that I'm doing the right things now, for my money and my assets and things of that nature. But before I wasn't doing it because I wanted to take care of so many people. And remember, I have 8 kids.
That's part of it too. That no doubt. Hey, I only got one, Kenny, and she costs a lot of money.
I have 8 kids, and I had this is my 3rd wife. So life could be hard, but now I'm done.
No doubt.
I'm done. So
You're
thank
done?
God.
No more kids at 50?
No, hell no.
Yeah, right. I got one more basketball question for you.
Yeah.
Has there been anybody, and since you started playing, or since you retired, that a point guard come along and said, that reminds me of me? Does anybody ever remind you of you on the court?
I think Kyrie a little bit. I like Kyrie. I couldn't shoot like him. But I could do everything else. And I would pass a lot, more. And he's a great scorer, and he can shoot the ball extremely well. So I like Kyrie Irving, but I'm a big Tiny Archibald guy. I know you love Tiny.
Yeah, you New York guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love
Tiny, man. I love Tiny Archibald.
I lived through that year when he led the league in scoring and assists, 35 points a game, 15 assists some nights.
Wow.
6'1", and Tiny was taller than people thought.
Yeah.
He was actually 6'1". They thought he was 5'11", but he projected a bit tall. I don't know, his legs are long or something.
So you think? So actually, I know. I don't know. I don't think it'll happen. You think it'll happen again?
No.
And
we would never do that.
A point guard.
No. It was. You need all the circumstances. There was a team that needed it. A coach will let you do it. You had Bob Cousy, who had traded for him and wanted him badly, and he drafted him. Excuse me. He traded for Norm Van Leer. He drafted Tiny. Anyway, I don't think so. That was a unique circumstance. But my God, I'll tell you a quick story. That year, the Celtics started off the season, they were 10-0, and the Royals came in, and Tommy Heinsohn, the practice the day before, the whole practice was good. We can't let this he's not going to beat us. He's not going to beat us. I'm sorry. So they doubled him and tripled him and everything else, got the ball out of his hands, and Matt Gukas beat him. Really? Matty Gukas was popping in jumpers from the corner, but I'm just remembering Tommy was obsessed. He's not going to beat us. Well, he didn't, but they lost the game anyway. It was just, but Matty Gukas from the corner.
Wow,
my story.
Kenny, before we let you go, we're gonna finish where we started. Give me the top point guard that ever came out of New York City. Who is it?
I would say Tiny Archibald.
Yeah.
I would say Tiny.
I never saw him.
You never saw him. And we got some great point guards. Pearl Washington, Kenny Smith, Mark Jackson, Rod Strickland.
Yep.
Stephon Marbury. Marbury was pretty good.
Marbury. Myself. We go off. I can go on and on for days.
It's been quiet. Listen, all right. So here's my big question to you: why the hell aren't there any good ones lately? It's been like
I know why.
Why?
I think a lot of kids are doing other things. Number one, number two, they're going over. They play well. It's not a good environment to live in certain areas. So they go into prep school, things of that nature. It's just not good. New York before. In the 80s and the 90s, it was, we lived and we got to play basketball that we truly loved, and the housing was a little better.
Do you have a great story of playing in the parks? Like one time, like somebody showing up or something that you will never forget of going to, whether it's Rucker Park or somewhere else?
Left Rack City Park. I don't got stories, but I played in the Left Rack City park the LCTA, that's what they called it, and playing against big guys, and I just had a great performance out there. I don't have too many. I don't have the story. I can't put the stories together.
Yeah.
But I had my Kenny Anderson Classic for 10 years out in my neighborhood. I gave back because that's when on the court. That's where I became something. Out there. No, I couldn't put the stories together well. But my friend, he's out with me. He lives in New York. He'll tell you all the good stories. I'm not a good storyteller.
Tell you about Tiny quickly.
Yeah.
Oh no, we've all seen countless guys who were fast up and down the court. Amazing. Big merits. Allen Iverson, young Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
Fine, right? All right. Okay. We then got like Calvin Murphy up and down, who straight up. Tiny Archibald was like a broken field runner. He didn't just go straight. I used to say he followed his blocking. He was the cleverest guy negotiating down the court that I have ever seen. It was a unique style. Right, Kenny? He followed
I got a lot of my game from Tiny. A lot of people say that, I remind them of Tiny Archibald. I'm left-handed.
I was going to say, that's another thing. Left-handed. You guys were both left-handed.
Both left-handed, and I picked my game up.
The godfather of all you guys out of New York, though, seriously, of the point guards of the last 70 years, Lenny Wilkins.
Yeah, Lenny Wilkins.
I
heard he was great.
He was, and
where did Cousy come? Hey, where did Cousy play in New York?
Andrew
Jackson. And another great that I love is Lloyd Daniels. Lloyd Daniels. He had a rough life. He didn't make it, but he was awesome.
Yep.
6'8", awesome.
There are a lot. Listen, there are a lot of guys that came out of New York, like Sweet Pea, like Lenny Cook, like Sebastian Telf. Sebastian made it. He made it. But a lot of it's hard coming out of New York, having everybody pulling at you when you're 14, 15 years old, isn't it?
Very hard. See, that's what I did. It was a blessing, and not too many kids of my age have it. I went to Archbishop Malloy High School, and Jack Karen, Vincent Smith, them guys, Pierre Turner, they watched me like a hawk, man. They watched me like a hawk, and I couldn't do no wrong. I had to go to school, and real quick, when athlete camp, the Nike camp, when we used to go, I only went 1 year because I was in summer school.
Really?
I failed every year Spanish. Spanish class 1. So if you fail one class, you kicked out of Malloy. So I would have, Spanish was a killer for me. I couldn't get it.
Is Malloy? Where is Malloy? Is it in the Bronx or is it in Queens?
Briarwood, Queens.
It's in Queens. Okay.
Briarwood. So it's still there now. Now they have girls and boys. When I went, it was all boys.
Probably a good thing for you.
It's a good learning school, man. I learned so much about going to Malloy. It was awesome.
Are you done? Are you staying down in Nashville for forever? Staying in the warm weather? Or are you going to go back to New York eventually?
I go back and visit, but just like I'm gonna come back and visit Boston. I always come back and visit Boston. I don't, live in New York. I just go back and visit, but I'm in Nashville now.
Smart.
So I'll go to Atlanta, Nashville, and I really want to come up to Boston and visit. And I thought the season, I was going to go to a game, but now I got to wait till it opens up again.
Yeah, we'll do it next year. You come in next year, we'll take you to a game.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'll get down to Nashville at some point there. Vandy's got to start to do better.
Bob, I would love Bob to come to one of my games in Nashville. Y'all come, we go hang out, go to dinner.
Done.
And that's it. Y'all come to a game.
Next year.
Gym number 202, Jeff. That would be gym number 202.
202, that's
right. I've been to 201 venues for college basketball, Kenny.
Yeah, we small school. We'll have a good time, man.
I know. I'd love to. Done. I'll do it.
Listen, we really appreciate you jumping on. We're glad you're doing well. You sound great. You look great. Your stories are terrific. And hopefully we'll see you soon, all right?
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You got it. Thanks, Ken.